Charles and Tom. How are you?
Good,
Hi,
thanks.
Ben. Hi,
Great.
nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you both. I watched Deadshot last night. Absolutely loved it. So thank you for making it.
Well,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
watching.
Thanks for watching. That was brilliant.
Of course, of course. Can you explain a little bit about how you both got, or how the project got started and how you both became involved?
Sure, we were sent an early. There was a couple of scripts. Ronan Bennett had written an original script of the film back in 2012, and they and Chris Cohen, the producer, had got very close to making it a couple of times, but unfortunately, it never quite got it over the line. And it was kind of a dormant script, and he sent it to our agent, and we took a look, and we immediately connected with it, and had a kind of a fresh take on the material, and really went from there. And Chris, we shared our ideas with Ronan and Chris, and Ronan at the time was really heavily involved with Top Boy, which is a big TV show that he was the showrunner on. And he said, look, I just don't really have time to take these ideas on and to do another draft, but you guys should go ahead. And we kind of spent the next 2 years working on the script, which turned out to be slightly longer than we thought because we got hit by COVID, and then made the film in 2022.
Nice. Charles, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, that's that pretty much covers it.
Awesome. What was it about the original script that you both really connected with?
We loved the cat and mouse of it. We felt that Ronan had also kind of hit upon a really interesting idea in setting a revenge story in this particular time and place. London in the 70s with this at this time when there was so much violence on the streets in London. That world really it really struck a chord with us because it felt very true to life at the time. Now, I mean, there's a lot of the 70s really in how we're living now, really, in terms of massive inflation, houses, streets boarded up, shops boarded up. I think that that kind of world felt very very connected to today, and also the politics of it was really similar in the sense that you've got the political establishment sort of really kind of encouraging sort of division and inciting violence, really, and manipulating young people into doing stuff that they don't perhaps necessarily set out to do, but find themselves doing anyway. That kind of struck a chord with us, and that's really that was our jumping off point. We wanted to explore this idea of kind of toxic masculinity in the context of people like Holland and Keenan, and that wasn't really something that Ronan was exploring. His was quite a different story in that respect. But yeah, that's kind of what we vibed on.
Nice. So it sounds like you both changed quite a bit from the original script. Is that true?
I mean, not the ostensible story. I mean, the story was very much a cat and mouse between these two opposing men. I mean, Ronan had been very interested. He was a huge fan of Heat, and he loved this idea of the kind of De Niro Pacino of it all between Tempest and Michael. And we just really developed that, and possibly just change some of the context of it all, and so just to look at it in a different light and from a different perspective. But it was very much his that central thrust of the two guys was present when we read it.
I think we probably brought a universality to it. We really wanted to kind of lean into the universal aspects of the story, you know, from this idea of revenge and Michael's need for revenge, and perhaps lean into that more so than the politics and of the time, politics of the Troubles, because we felt that we felt that was something that people would they would be able to feel that if we could get the specifics of the personality of Michael and these characters, if we could get the specifics of them across, then people would feel how entrenched these disputes are in kind of in generations.
Right. So with all that said, was there anything specific that you wanted the audience to take away from the film?
Definitely how hard it is to kind of to escape these cycles of violence when you start them.
That's definitely a good takeaway. It's hard, but it's a good one. What was it like working with your cast?
They were fantastic. Colin Morgan who plays Michael. He's from South Armagh in Northern Ireland, and he immediately connected with the material on a very personal level, and he gave a very emotional, contained performance, which really knocked us out. Actually, he brought so much life and charisma to Michael with very little, and we loved that. And Amel also was a fantastic collaborator. He also had in many conversations we had before we started shooting with him, he really connected with Tempest and his background and how he'd ended up in England and London, and the frustration and the anger and the desire to please that a character like that would find himself trapped in. So both of them were great collaborators.
That's awesome. Their performances were definitely fantastic. And you two are brothers, so what is it like working together on a project like this?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, we've been fooling around with cameras really for as long as we can remember, and doing various different shooting various different things together. It was there were moments when we were making this film where we had the kind of freedom and the kind of atmosphere, you know, the atmosphere on set that felt very much like we were back in our childhood, kind of just doing stuff and kind of figuring it out, which was really exciting.
That's awesome. I have a brother myself, and I don't think I could work with him on a project like this. So kudos to both of you for being able to do that. Unfortunately, those were kind of all of my questions. But before I let you go, is there anything else that you really want to add about Deadshot?
What was it?
What did you enjoy? I was
Yeah,
just going to ask
I
what you
enjoyed.
enjoyed
Yeah.
most about it, or
Yeah.
was there something specific that you enjoyed?
I like the whole thing, but I really liked the beginning with just how shocking it was with the wife in the car, and how you kind of started the movie off like with a literal bang, and it just kept going from there. And it just like you gave us kind of what we were in for, like right from the start.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we really wanted to tell a story in which there were no real heroes or villains, that that the good people had shades of bad and the bad people had shades of good, to the point that you weren't sure who was good and who was bad, and that sense of equality in the representations of the two kind of factions that are fighting each other was really important to us. Yeah.
Awesome.
And making it right. I mean, we were really keen to, we really wanted the story to, we wanted to be very, very, we were aware of what a responsibility we had setting a story at that particular time in history. And we didn't take that lightly at all. So we really wanted to be true to, we wanted to represent that time as authentically as we possibly could, with as much detail as we possibly could, so that when we were effectively capturing or recreating fictional events like we were doing, they would still feel, to anyone who had lived through that time, they would feel as if, you know, they really could have been, that could have been how it happened, or what it was like to live through that kind of particularly kind of paranoid time, really. That was really important for us.
Awesome.
Would there be anything, Tom, that you would add?
No, I think that's I think you nailed it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for chatting. Again, I love the movie. Have a great rest of your day.